Hello, YouTube. Siberia, spread over vast expanses, holds countless secrets of the past. Here, amidst the harsh climate and vast territories, ancient people lived, different ethnicities, leaving behind only mysterious traces. Permafrost hides amazing discoveries in its depths, from unusual burials to artifacts that open a window into the world of ancient cultures. The taiga of Siberia is a paradise for researchers. There is probably no other Russian region with so many mysteries and unexplained natural anomalies. Let's start with the dancing skeleton. In 2017, a grave was found in the Primorsky Krai, or Maritime Province in English, which baffled archaeologists. The skeleton of a 30-year-old man was discovered in the center of an ancient cemetery, where only the elderly were buried. The researchers dubbed this find Mikhail and immediately noticed an unusual position in which he was buried. Mikhail was lying on his back. His arms were crossed over his pelvis. His ankles were tied and his knees were spread apart. This strange pose resembled a dance, which gave rise to many hypotheses. However, further research has revealed a grim truth. The man was most likely buried tied up, which may indicate unusual funeral rites or even a punishment ritual. In addition, Mikhail's legs were deformed, which is probably related to the disease he suffered from. These features make the find unique, but scientists are unlikely to be able to determine the exact meaning of such a burial. Dragons from Siberia. In the 1970s, Soviet farmer Sergei Ferfelov, while doing field work in Khakassia, accidentally stumbled upon unique artifacts. 8 metal buckles, which are about 2,000 years old, have emerged from the ground. These items depicted serpentine dragons with amazing detail. The discovery aroused intense interest among scientists. The study of buckles has shown that dragons are not associated with the cultural influence of China, where the image of these mythical creatures has not yet been formed at that time. Instead, the artifacts indicate that Siberian mythology developed autonomously, creating its own pantheon of symbols. Scientists suggest that dragons could be amulets that protect their owners from danger, or symbols associated with astronomical observations. Near the site of the discovery is an ancient sanctuary of Sunduki, which, according to archaeologists, was used as an observatory. This suggests that buckles may have played a role in rituals related to celestial bodies. I am not so sure about the age of the dragons when they started being worshipped in China. I have done my research about China, and I think it was definitely earlier, but it doesn't matter. We're speaking about Siberia at this point. And we'll go on to the copper necropolis. In 1997, the Zelyony Yar necropolis was discovered near city of Salihard, which immediately attracted the attention of scientists with its unusual nature. However, the real sensation occurred in 2017 when archaeologists unearthed 2 unusual graves. An adult and a baby who were about probably 1,300 years when they were buried ago. The remains were wrapped in cocoons of birch bark, fur, and cloth, which was unusual in itself, but the most striking thing was the use of copper. The adult's body was completely wrapped in copper rings, and the mummified infant was decorated with copper elements. Such a burial ritual has never been seen before in any known culture. Scientists hope that further analysis of the remains will reveal more about the mysterious group that practiced such burials. Who were they? Why did they use copper? And what did these rituals mean? The answers to these questions are still a mystery. Then there was a cemetery of the ancient cemetery of dogs. Dogs have always been an important part of human life, especially for the ancient inhabitants of Siberia. However, the archaeologists' discovery in the Ust-Paloy settlement, located near the Arctic Circle, surprised even the most experienced researchers. In this prehistoric village, which is about 2,000 years old, the remains of more than 115 dogs have been discovered. This is unusual since in most ancient settlements, no more than 10 are usually found. The analysis showed that the dogs resembled modern Siberian huskies, but were smaller in size. These animals were used not only for hunting and grazing deer, but also as traction power for sledges. However, the most shocking discovery is that some dogs served as food or sacrificial animals. The skulls of 15 dogs were found in one place, and each skull was divided in the same way. Perhaps it was a part of a ritual, the meaning of which we do not yet understand. Then we go to the Maltese boy mystery. It's a mystery of the ancient genome. In 2013, researchers sequenced the genome of a 4-year-old boy buried near the White River about 24,000 years ago. The found skeleton was named Maltese boy in honor of the nearest settlement. It was also called Malta. The DNA analysis of the boy gave sensational results. It turned out that a third of the genome of modern Native Americans was inherited from a group related to Europeans. However, even more surprisingly, the boy's genome bore no resemblance to East Asian people, which are also considered the ancestors of Native Americans. This fact indicates that the boy lived in a period when different groups had not yet mixed. His story opens a new page in the study of ancient human migrations and population formations. And then there is the Karaturuga Gallery, rock art from millennia ago. A unique gallery of ancient art is located on the border of Russia and Mongolia, among the cliffs of Dazdag Mountain. The petroglyphs of Karaturuga were created over the course of 4,000 years by different cultures, each of which added its own elements. There are about 500 different images created in the Bronze Age to the late Middle Ages. The most amazing are the images of stairs, houses, and indoor scenes, which cast doubt on the notion that Bronze Age Siberians were exclusively nomads. Mountain goats are an invariable motif of drawings that has been passed down from one culture to another. Surprisingly, none of the artists destroyed the works of their predecessors, leaving a legacy for future generations. And then there is this interesting story, the Atradninsky fragment, a mystery from outer space or from our planet. In 2012, in the village of Atradninsky, locals found a strange metal object larger than a car. The object was shaped like a U-shaped cylinder with a dome and was made of heavy-duty titanium. The artifact weighed about 200 kilograms. The discovery immediately sparked rumors about aliens, especially after the object was taken out under heavy security into an atmosphere of secrecy. However, experts from the Russian space agency Roscosmos and the well-known NASA said that this object has nothing to do with this space technology. So what kind of object it is, it's still a mystery. And there have been no further official comments. In the late 1970s, I want to tell you about another story related to Siberia. An unusual object was discovered in the Siberian taiga, that's boreal forest, near Irkutsk. The find was a gray-brown metal ball. An object weighing 1.5 kilograms and 80 millimeters in diameter was discovered by local hunters. According to the man, the ball was lying on the ground. It looked like as if it had been exposed to high temperatures. At first, it was assumed that it was a meteorite that melted when passing through dense layers of the atmosphere. However, there was no crater on Earth, which would certainly have formed upon the impact. The ball was lying as if it had been brought in and just laid on the ground. In addition, for all the time of observations, there has not been a single case of meteorite falling to Earth with an ideal spherical shape. The find was sent to the Irkutsk University, famous for its fundamental research. Experts have determined that the ball has no magnetic properties and is not made of iron. Attempts to cut the object with a circular saw were unsuccessful. Several grains obtained during the cutting attempt were subjected to spectral analysis. The study showed that the ball consists of titanium with small admixtures of chromium, vanadium, and aluminum. Scientists are finally convinced that the object is not a meteorite. All celestial bodies falling to Earth are made of stone or iron with admixtures of nickel. Since the alloy that made up the ball is used in the nuclear industry, it was tested for the presence of radioactive radiation. The radiation background was within their normal range. So far, scientists from the Irkutsk University have not found out anything. There's nothing to compare the ball with. It's one of a kind. There are more questions than answers. If this object was created on Earth, what is its purpose? Who made it? And how did it end up in the remote Siberian taiga? In my videos about Siberia, and I have a lot, and you can do research through my channel just using the word Siberia. Well, the taiga of Siberia is one of the most mysterious and difficult places on this planet. Remaining largely unexplored and inaccessible to humans, it hides many natural anomalies that attract the attention of not only scientists but also researchers of paranormal phenomena. These mysteries, which have remained beyond scientific understanding, cause many to feel anxiety, interest, and admiration. To understand what exactly the taiga landscape of Siberia hides, you need to look at the centuries-old history of research, the stories of local residents, as well as the latest scientific discoveries in the field of geophysics and astrophysics. Siberia has a vast territory covered with untouched forests, taiga marshes, mountain ranges, and rivers that can not only surprise with their beauty, but also frighten with mystical phenomena. One of the most famous anomalies is the so-called death zone, an area in southern part of Siberia where an unexplained disappearance of people have been taking place for several decades in a row. Locals consider this region to be cursed, explaining the strange events by the influence of mysterious forces that are at the very core of the nature of this region. Legends about the ghosts of ancient people, ethnicities, misfortunes, and obscure diseases have long been a part of Siberian folklore. But scientists exploring these places come to the conclusion that it's not about mysticism, but about the peculiarities of geographical and climatic conditions. There are strong geophysical anomalies in this region, such as magnetic fields that reverse their polarity dramatically, creating dangerous conditions for navigation and communication. Expeditions conducting research in such areas often encountered instrument failures and unexpected changes in climatic conditions. This phenomenon still has no precise explanation. At the same time, scientists hypothesize that all these anomalies are related to the unusual composition of minerals and metals that can emit forces that create such distortions. In addition, there are so-called hotspots in Siberia, places where earthquakes and natural gas emissions are unusually frequent. These areas pose a potential threat to local residents and an environmental hazard to the entire territory. Look at my videos about the ocean under Siberia. Very few in the West even realize such a thing exists, and not that many in Russia too, to be sure. But there is more in my other videos about Siberia and very unusual events that took place there and objects found. But I want to here briefly turn your attention to the Lake of Baikal, where seismic activity significantly increased and the depth of the lake is becoming an object of study in terms of possible geological anomalies. According to some scientists, there may be more to it than just unusual geological processes. Recent studies suggest that the deep sea areas of Lake Baikal may harbor some life forms unknown to science that have not been discovered on surface. And of course, the swimmers that I have been investigating for the past few decades, so-called swimmers, humanoid beings sighted at the bottom of Lake Baikal, and the tragic fate of the Soviet divers. I think this was one of the reasons why Vladimir, the president of Russia, Putin, took a dive in the submersible probably about 17 years ago to discover what was going on. But you can see more in my other videos on this. Now, one of the most mysterious natural anomalies in Siberia is Lake Labenkir, which is located on the territory of Yakutia. This place became famous due to unusual reports of unexplained occurrences that took place there. Some researchers believe that underwater forces are hiding in this lake, capable of causing unusual effects on the surface of the water. Locals still tell each other strange stories about how animals and people who found themselves in these places suddenly disappeared or got into strange and incomprehensible situations. And again, you can find more about this lake in my other videos. No less mysterious are the places where you can find strange glowing objects hovering in the night sky. These phenomena are often observed in remote areas of Siberia, and there is still no definite or definitive explanation for this phenomenon. One hypothesis suggests that this may be glowing balls caused by natural electrical discharges in the atmosphere. However, most observations of such objects indicate their unusual speed and changing trajectory, which is inconsistent with the usual laws of physics. Siberia also has numerous anomalies related to flora and fauna. In the taiga, you can find unique plant species with medicinal or strange properties. Again, look at my videos about ginseng and more. For example, there are cases when grasses and shrubs growing in certain regions have such a strong energy potential that they can affect people's health, causing strange changes in the body. In some areas, there are plants with incredible antimicrobial properties that could serve as the basis for the creation of new drugs, but they are hidden from the attention of science because they are located in the most inaccessible corners of the taiga. In recent years, interest in studying anomalous phenomena in Siberia has increased significantly, I hope, and more scientists, anthropologists, and psychics are seeking to unravel the mysteries of this vast land. However, among all the anomalous phenomena of Siberia, it is possible to single out phenomena that are associated with ancient cultural and historical monuments. These are mysterious stone structures and the remains of mysterious settlements left over from the time when ancient people inhabited these lands. Archaeological research conducted in the taiga has revealed that many unknown facts that force scientists to reconsider generally accepted historical theories. So in different parts of Siberia, archaeologists find the remains of incredible creatures that have never been mentioned in historical sources. Many of them show signs of unusual diseases or even mutations, which may indicate an impact of the ecosystem and the health of ancient people. Expeditions investigating these finds speak of unusual physical anomalies present in the bones and organs of the discovered creatures, as well as strange structures in the bone remains, which suggests possible biological experiments conducted in ancient times. The unusual natural anomalies hidden in the Siberian taiga remain one of the most mysterious and unexplored topics for researchers from all over the world. This phenomena attract the attention of scientists and fans of the paranormal, revealing amazing secrets of nature that may remain unsolved. Being part of the unknown and mystical world of Siberia, and I'm your guide to much of the Western world when it comes to Siberia. There are special reasons why I know so much about this region, and there's more to that. I'll talk about it some other time. But here's what I wanted to let you know about very interesting narrative that I have. I don't have any more information about it than what is here. Who knows, maybe one day we'll find out. So in a special purpose flight unit in remote Siberia, according to the report of the aircraft's commander, there was not a single settlement in the territory within a radius of 100 kilometers. The crew observed a huge square on the starboard side with diagonals as if it welded from large diameter pipes, and it was burning with such a bright red glow that, but there's no fire around. The entire top brass found out were shocked by what they saw, what was reported to them, but in the 1970s and 1980s, everyone was silent about it, according to the person who put up this report. Because if you're not silent and you talk about it too much under the Soviet times, and you're not in a special research group, you would be thrown into a nut house in the best outcome. So that's what I wanted to let you know today about Siberia. And if you like my research, please kindly support me through the links you'll find in description to this channel. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like my videos. Thank you.